Plaintiff Stephanie Holscher says 4 months after she started dating the defendant, she discovered he was married. And then he lied about filing for divorce. Stephanie now believes the defendant was just using her for sex and money, and she's suing him for credit card bills and a collections bill. Defendant Matthew Kearney insists Stephanie knew from the start that he was married and claims his wife left him because Stephanie wouldn't stop texting him. Matthew denies owing Stephanie for anything, and he has an email to prove it.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, started dating him, and, we dated for about a year. And, I finally realized that, he was just using me for sex and money. And, I felt like I deserved more.
What gave you that impression?
Because every time that I went over there, or, every time he called me, he always wanted, he wanted sex, or he wanted a or something. Oof. And it was just like...
Your Honor, that is not true.
He always wanted it from me.
Man, you had to use that. Why can't you just say, and I don't know if this is any better, why can't you just say he wanted some every time you...
Okay. Sorry.
Is that better? That's a little better.
It's more 70s term, but it's good.
That's a little better, right? All right, go ahead. All right, I got your point now. All right.
I guess I could have rephrased
to it in
a little
more respectable manner.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, at first I thought our relationship was going really well. He was acting pretty strange, though. He was only wanting me to come over, certain times of the day, certain times of the night. He would never come over to my house. And about 4 months after we started dating, I did confront him because I was very, very confused about it, like, well, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And he did admit that he was married. And
Your Honor, she knew that from the start.
Okay.
I did not know that.
She knew for 8 months, that's for sure. Go ahead.
He admitted to it, and then he told me, he said, well, I'm going to get a divorce. And, he even showed me the paperwork. He said that he was going to get a divorce. So I believed him, but he didn't. He never did.
You about the fifth one he showed that paperwork to?
Probably.
Go ahead.
Anyways, I know that I was very, very naive about this, and I believed him. He kept promising me, and I kept believing him.
Now, obviously, they weren't living together, he and his wife.
I didn't notice anything, no.
Did you ultimately find out whether they were or not?
Your Honor, my name is John Smith.
Your Honor.
Stephanie's my girlfriend.
He has nothing to do with this case.
Matthew was my cousin.
He was not around.
Mary Ann is my aunt.
This is your cousin?
Yeah, he's my cousin.
He was not around when all this started.
Right.
And now she's your woman.
We never actually...
Stephanie and myself are now seeing each other. We were introduced by my aunt, and to give you a little background, my aunt is actually the one who fixed myself and Stephanie up.
She did. She
told me personally...
Your Honor, that is not correct.
She told me personally that Matthew didn't want anything to do with Stephanie. He was just using her, that he was still married.
That is not true.
And that he was not yet divorced, so he basically didn't need to be with Stephanie.
Okay. Ma'am, I'll allow you to respond. State your name.
My name is Mary Ann Walls.
Okay, he said that you're the one that informed him that he was conning her.
That is not correct. That is not correct.
What type of discussions did you have with him?
Up to me.
Ma'am, what type of discussions did you have with the witness?
I basically told Stephanie that my son was not ready for a committed relationship. He was still married. When they started this friendship, Matt was still living with his wife, and when it came down to where Matt did not want a committed relationship, I told Stephanie that maybe she needed to move on.
That's not true.
Matthew had...
You told me to do what was best for myself, and I felt the best for myself was to get rid of Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie had met my nephew, Johnny, at Johnny's mom and dad's house with Matt. Stephanie went to my sister's house with my son over a dinner date.
And he left her sitting outside for 2 hours.
Quiet.
Excuse me.
Go ahead, ma'am.
And then Johnny asked me about Stephanie, and I, at that time, told them, including my sister, that my son was still married. He was not interested in a committed relationship, and if Johnny wanted to go out with her, then maybe he needed to ask her.
That's the way you put it, ma'am. He was still married, or did you just say he's booked up, he got a full stable, he can't?
No, I basically stayed to this day, Judge.
He didn't want to get ahead of himself.
It must to say about it.
That's pretty good. Ma'am, I want to hear where you were going when he was calling you over there and you went to have sex with him frequently. Were you going over to his home?
It was over at his apartment.
And his wife was still living there with him?
If she was, I had no idea.
All right.
He wouldn't let me go
Have you determined yet whether that was the case?
As far as I know, they're still married.
Were they living together, though? Did you ever find that out?
I never found out. They say they were, but I don't know.
The point I'm trying to make, ma'am, is if he was living with his wife at that time, you were coming over to his wife's home, having sex with him in his wife's bed. That's a little more than just meet my mistress at a little hotel every blue moon. You coming over to this man's house, getting in his wife's bed. Or him calling you to do so because you didn't know, unbeknownst to you.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Well, sir, you want to speak on, give me some background. I'll let you talk.
Oh, first of all, Your Honor, she knew the situation from the start. She knew that my wife was still living there up until February 19th. And she kept pushing me for a relationship. She invited me to Lake of the Ozarks with her family after my wife was gone.
I did invite him.
Sir, why would you have this one? I'm just stuck on you bringing this woman to your wife's house and putting her in your wife's bed.
She didn't start coming over to the house until after my wife was gone.
That is a lie.
Oh, after your wife had moved out?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I didn't think you were that low. All right.
My wife left me because she kept texting me and wouldn't leave me alone.
Why was she doing that? Why was she texting you?
I have no idea, Your Honor. It always involved...
Tell me how the conversation went that caused the wife to leave over her text.
It was just the fact that she kept texting me.
Now tell me how the conversation went. What'd she say? Honey, I see you keep getting this text from this woman named Stephanie, so I'm leaving.
I can't recall the exact conversation, Your Honor.
Usually when people walk out on you, you can recall last words, Doc.
Your Honor, I even have text
bring
messages.
it to your attention, his wife was a very quiet, non-communicating person. She didn't talk. She didn't show any emotions or anything like that. That was one of their problems in the marriage, is because she wouldn't communicate with
Nice, quiet young lady.
Nice, quiet young lady.
And that's what he did to her. Ma'am, you want to get to the credit cards and the collection bills you're suing him about. Tell me about that.
In about January, Matt was having trouble with his car. So he asked me for some help.
January of
2012, sorry.
All right.
And so he asked me for some help. I agreed to help him by getting him a Summit card under my name, and we made this agreement that if he would pay the bills on time and every month that
part is not true, Your Honor.
You know, I would keep them open so that he could continue using when he would use them. He maxed it out in the first month or so. And, you know, he made maybe the first 4 payments.
He says that's not true at all, even about the first month. Is that what you're saying?
The agreement was that I would make the payments, but the on-time part was never part of it.
That is.
And I have the payment history.
Tell your car company that. Say, well, you said I have to pay every month, but you didn't say on time.
I tried my hardest.
They'll
and
say,
I even
when we
have
take this car, you'll understand that.
Your Honor, I even have text messages with the deal and him.
It's not a question of whether he paid on time at this juncture. It's a question of whether he paid you at all.
True.
And you're saying there's a balance, or there's something you had to pay on his behalf and he owes you now, or is there? All right.
There is a balance.
All right. And how much is that?
On that one is $1,337.
This for the card,
$1,337.
All right. What else?
And then in March of 2012, he was having trouble getting a job, and he needed a laptop. So I agreed to get a Walmart card also, so that he could get a laptop and be able to search and help him get a job. I was just trying to be nice and everything. He, I think, made maybe the first or second payment.
How much was the total amount due on that?
And the balance on that one now is $1,968.
$1,968. What else?
And then there was also a phone bill. In June of 2012, his got shut off, And at this point, I don't know why I'd agreed to get him a cell phone, but I did. I got him a cell phone. And again,
balance?
He did not pay it. Well, actually, it was $2,440, but it got sent to collections. Collections called me, and I actually negotiated it down to $1,150. And I ended up paying all of those, all of that. And
let me see what bills something that you're looking and reading from.
Here's the bills and the statements underneath.
Let's get to you, sir. Do you owe her for these things? The credit card bills, the Walmart, and the telephone bill?
I feel I do not honor because she sent me an email stating that she did not want my money, that she was going to take on the responsibility and pay it herself.
Your Honor, I did send that to him, but I also sent an email back to him. I was upset, and I was saying it in anger and upset or whatever. I sent an email back to him. Kind of like you're not giving it to me, whatever. And I said,
I kind of gotten to the point where I realized no matter what happens, I'm never going to get all the money from you. So yes, frustrated because you won't pay her. So I may as well just take responsibility for my own mistakes. You take that to mean she doesn't want you to pay her?
That she said she was going to take on the responsibility herself and pay it.
For the mistakes that she made in lending you money. That's what she's suggesting. Yes. And that was at 9 a.m. At 2:07 p.m., your response was, I'll pay it as soon as I'm able to, I promise.
She had sent me an email after that, Your Honor.
No, we're talking about these two emails where you claim she told you you didn't have to pay. But your response to her was, I will pay. I promise. That's all I need to hear. $4,455 is your judgment. His defense is that you waived off the debt by telling him you would take care of your own responsibilities. Yeah, you would, to keep your credit free. But his response was, knowing that he was in the wrong, I'll pay you, I promise. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
All I gotta say is I hope that the drugs are enough to keep her happy.
Matt, you need to shut your mouth. You can't even keep a job for like, what, 4 months or something?
You need to stop.
You side with the wrong people in the whole deal.
You need to stop.
Both of you two know exactly what you've done is wrong, and that's that. It's
you should have never got involved in it to begin with.
Take your drugs and live your life,
It was my choice to leave you.
Take your drugs
I'm happy with him because he doesn't screw me over with money.
Because you like to
know what? We have never had sex. How about that? We have never.
Oh
yeah, because that's because he's got Hep B and C.
He has nothing.
Oh, that's not what he's telling everybody.
Right, nothing.